All right, everybody. So we are live at Inspection Fuel in Dallas and podcasting a little bit differently because technology is awesome, man.
Right?
Yeah,
I know. We can just do this mobily.
we could do this mobily. I mean, usually, like I use like the big fancy mics and stuff, and then I went to IEB's conference recently, and I saw their podcast guy, and all of his stuff was like super tiny and mobile, and I'm like, why are we trying to impress people with a Shure microphone? Hey, these work great.
Yeah, it
you know?
looks cool.
Yeah,
But I
dude.
mean, like this works great,
Yeah.
and we're able to do this here without
So
having a permanent setup. So I dig it.
Oh no, totally, yeah. And so I guess the name of the podcast for this week is going to be Around One Fern instead of Between Two Ferns. You came up with that one, so
Sort of. I
yeah.
mean, you did the decorating here, so I mean, like you kind of
I'm an interior designer now.
good at this.
But anyway, no. So this is going to be our first episode of the week here. We've got Matthew Brading. So. Dude, first of all, you've followed me for a while, and I apologize for not following you back until yesterday.
No apologies
So,
necessary.
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I follow a lot of inspection and industry related folks just to see what's going on with things.
Yeah, definitely, man.
And I mean, there's so many of them. I mean, I met a handful of people last night that came up and recognized me from the videos and things that I put out. And of course, immediately I just try to grab them and follow them. So, if there's somebody that follows me or we can, connect or something like that, I try to follow them back. But I mean, there's so many. I mean,
No, totally, yeah.
to all of them.
Well, that's the thing. I love that for our industry specifically. Um, we're starting to get noticed a little bit amongst the greater real estate community, and a lot of it is just from content. And I mean, you've got quite a freaking following on Instagram, man.
I do.
So, how long has that taken you to like kind of develop that, and what's been your method for that? Just if you don't mind telling us.
Well, consistency really has been what made it happen. I mean, to be honest with you, and I was talking about Chris Murphy. He was supposed to be here in this podcast today, but
Yeah,
he's
dude,
in a
come on.
class. He's taking a class. Needs to learn something. I think he doesn't even do inspections personally anymore. No, but he's going to be teaching a class here at the end of the week, and so this is on a topic that he's going to be covering. And so he thought he should sit in this class and absorb some of that information. So good for him.
Yep.
Maybe you'll talk to him a little bit later. But honestly, the reason why I bring up his name is because back in like 2018, 19, probably 18, he is the one that like pushed me to get online, to
Sure.
start posting things online. I didn't think it would be any benefit to my company at all.
Right.
And so I started putting out videos. They were terrible because he thought I should do it. He said it had made a business, it had had an effect on the business that he was bringing in. And so I thought, why not? What do I got to lose? They were terrible videos. They got very low views. But I just kept doing it. Over the course of the next few years, it's like I had to kind of reanalyze why I was doing it. I was trying to connect to realtors. I wanted it to get big. I wanted to get business from it. But I felt like there was this bigger mission because like I think there was this look that home inspectors kind of had. And I kind of wanted to give a little more transparency to what we do, make it a little bit fun. Okay, so a realtor friend of mine, I was talking to her about when I was trying to make videos. I said, man, I find it hard like to figure out a way to make this look cool, because like in real estate, you can film a house and it's like, hey, this is this awesome kitchen and all of this. Like it looks really visually stimulating, like at the time, that was a lot of the videos I was seeing. I was following a lot of realtors trying to get them to follow me and look at my content. And so I'm seeing a lot of the things that they were putting out there. And she said, yeah, it's kind of easy to show a nicely kept house and show how beautiful it looks, show its good side, She goes, but home inspection is just not sexy. That was what she said.
No, that's actually a great way to think about it too. I mean, like literally, I've had this conversation with my old boss Ken Humphreys. He's been on the show before, and I've mentioned him on the podcast recently. But yeah, I mean, it's this struggle of like, how do you take this job where literally we go through a house in 2.5 to 3 hours, and we tell people what's right and wrong, and how do you make that interesting? It's not sexy. We're literally like the last step in the real estate process prior to closing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the most unsexy thing in real estate to literally tell people what's broken, right?
Yeah.
How do you make that look cool? And so I kind of thought to myself, well, let's change that a little bit. And I didn't even really know what I meant or what I didn't have a completed thought about like changing what home inspection looked like to people. But it was just like, I'm going to change the face of this company. I want to, not me, but as a person in this company, I want to be part of who's changing the face of it. And Chris was involved in that too, I think we had some conversations about it, but it was not really a plan. It just a thought, really.
And I love that you're putting yourself out there with it because so many of us home inspectors, we have a face for radio. And, so actually like being bold enough to take the phone and be
Yeah,
like, let's put
that was
myself out
hard.
there. Yeah, yeah.
It was not easy, like, and I didn't like the way it looked, but I kept doing it and kept doing it until I got more comfortable and kind of developed my own style. And then a few years, it started to take off a little bit. And all of a sudden it went from me having like 1,000 followers to having 2,000 followers, 3,000 followers. And this is all like, it took years to get to 1,000. And one day I went from 1,000. 2 weeks later, I was at 17,000.
Now, was it
And
just
it's
one
like,
video that went viral or?
kind of, but it's like, it was more like a moment in time. Like something just happened. I mean, after that, I had a lot of videos do even better than that one, right? But it's like, there was nothing special about that video. There was nothing great. There was a lot of, there's always a lot of hateful comments when you put stuff out there on the internet. There's a lot of that going on, but it wasn't like, I look back on it, I know exactly which one it is and where it happened. There wasn't anything particularly special about it. I just right place at the right time, I think. And then I continued to put out content. Now that I had an audience, I continued to just put out content, and I had tons of ideas that I now get to show people. Whereas before it was like, I was just showing like the 10 people that would watch my videos. Now all of a sudden I had 17, 20,000, and it just kind of grew from there. It's close to 300 now somewhere. And then I got some other platforms that are quite large as well. But it just made me have this ability to reach a ton of people and show them what it is that we do. And I think that it has done exactly what I set out to do, which was give people a look at it and change what it looks like and how people perceive home inspection.
No, that's awesome. And so, like with people that are watching now, I mean, do you see some of that in the comments where it's like, "Oh, I didn't really realize this is what you did or why this was important"? Like, how are common people responding? That sounds so terrible. Common people. Let's just put it, how are home buyers?
It's really funny.
How are home buyers responding to the content that you're putting out there? Yes, the civilians, the plebes of the world.
Uh, well, it varies, right? Because people have varying levels of concern. But I mean, like, so I'll put something out there sometimes and somebody's like, "Oh my God, how do builders get away with this?" And it's like, "Ah, well, I mean, they just need to like tighten it." Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not a big deal really. And then you'll put out something that is like really egregious. And then you have people that are going, "That's not any big deal," or "You made that up," or something. So it's all over the map, right? I put out a video. This is actually a YouTube video I put out the other day on, shoddy work on a house. And it's like, I literally open the video and I say, "Watch this one go from bad to worse." And at first I'm talking about, you're missing some sealant here. This flashing's not done right. Here's a couple of exposed nails on the roof. Then it's like, we have like a trip hazard in the attic. And then all of a sudden we have a gaping hole in the roof that's literally allowing moisture to come in. And then the entire living room had no insulation above it. And it's like, no, that's the whole video. So nobody's going to want to watch that one now. But anyway, no insulation above it, right? And it's just like, to me, that is just like, I can't believe that you couldn't see this without the
Small
use of a
oversight.
thermal
Yeah, yeah.
camera. But I mean, like, yeah, that's going to make a huge difference. The fact that I was able to find that for them. And some people see that, and some people get mad at the builder for making such an egregious error. Some people just, like, good job on you to find that and bring it to their attention. So it's all over the map. But I think, how they respond to it, that's up to them. I think just getting the information out there is really my goal.
That's good, man. And the other thing too, it kind of counters that whole deal killer mentality that a lot of times we have when they see how helpful it actually is, right? And so, especially maybe because they're not as emotionally invested in what you are putting out there because it's not their house, right?
Right.
And so that's where maybe the opinion starts to change a little bit.
Yeah, I love this deal killer conversation. Actually, I dressed up as a deal killer for Halloween a couple of years ago.
Did you?
I wore coveralls. I have a hat that says something like "Ask me something." I'm a home inspector or something like that. Some silly hat somebody made me a long time ago, and I literally put a knife through a box and wrote "deal" on the box, and there was blood all dripping down. So I was a deal killer for Halloween. I thought it was a clever costume for.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
But
Yeah.
I love this conversation because, like, as I have become more and more experienced as an inspector, I became less and less worried about that topic. And so part of it comes from my direct to consumer marketing. I'm working straight for the buyers. Like, I'm not so invested in realtors. So I'm not so worried about killing the deal. And that's just because of how things have become for me because of the social media presence I have. That's great. But I also, like, as I became more experienced, I became less and less concerned about whether or not I was killing a deal, and more concerned about the delivery of the information.
That's
Like,
good.
I don't really care whether you buy the house or not. And I want to give you all of the information. I'm actually not trying to scare you unless you just want to be scared. Like, you just need to listen to what I'm saying. So much of our job is about how we deliver the information and not so much about what we're finding. As long as we have done our very best to find the information with the problems, then delivering that information, that's really where our mission is, because you can take somebody who is emotionally invested, and we have to appreciate that, and you can scare the hell out of them.
Yeah, yeah.
But that may not be necessary, because you don't know that person. This house may be in the absolute perfect location, the best school district for them. This is what they can afford. There's all different levels of, what you can do if you deliver this information wrong. So it's not really about what you say, but about how you say it. And I think the more people watch my videos, the more awareness they are about the types of things we're finding, and maybe they're a little bit less surprised by it. People still want to know, like, did I pass? Did I fail?
Yeah, yeah.
They still want to know that kind of stuff.
What's my house worth? Oh wait, you're not the appraiser, you're the
Would you buy
inspector.
this
Yeah, yeah. The would you buy this house question? Never answer that question, man. No.
I go so far around that question when people ask that. And then we kind of end up right back at it, but it's just like, yeah, I talk my way all the way.
Hey, here's Chris over here. Hey, Chris,
Whoa,
come on over, man.
look at this. He made it.
I thought he was supposed to be learning
He
something
is
right now.
educated enough.
Yeah,
I'm
he
telling
doesn't
you.
need to know anything else. He doesn't hardly work anymore either. Right?
Enough about me. Let's learn about this guy.
Come on in, man.
Here.
So,
Guys. What's up?
How's it going?
all right, dude. Well, Chris, welcome, man. First of all, thanks for putting me in touch with Matt here.
Oh yeah,
yeah, definitely.
man.
Yeah. So he was just telling me that you kind of encouraged him to get into video content creation and stuff, and you've been doing this for a long time too.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I took a small break, but I'm slowly coming back.
Yeah, the channel's back. Where can people find it? First of all,
Just YouTube, and if you look up Houston Home Inspector, I'm the first thing that shows up.
okay, dude, awesome, man, good
Yeah.
stuff. And then, so what are you working on now? Like, what are you trying to take the channel and do with it at this point? Like, kind of this new iteration.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So my style before, I try to do like a vlog style, and I don't know, like, Casey Neistat, he was kind of my motivation, and I started doing that. But now I'm turning it into more of just like me walking around and talking about stuff. Not real, just like the story is I show up, look at the house, and then whatever I find, I'm just going to set up my camera and talk about it, because the home inspection audience I find is just people that really want to watch it. They're going to find you, and you're not going to get thousands and thousands of views. It's niche on niche. So the goal is just to produce content, and just whoever really wants to learn, they'll find you.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's different personalities connect with different folks, and so all you can be is your most authentic self with it. So,
Right.
um,
I was like trying too hard before.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah, I
like,
get
and
that.
now I'm just trying to not try as hard, I guess.
there's a yet unreleased episode of the ride along that we actually filmed in Houston a little over a year ago now.
Yeah.
But I tell you, like when you're making content, and Matt can probably speak to this too, it's such a learning curve as far as like what works and how.
Yeah.
Like the microphones that we're on now are an upgrade over the ones that I used with you, because I tried to go off of a budget before and get some mics off of Amazon that I thought were going to work,
Yeah.
and the audio quality, it was garbage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, you have to, if you want people to watch, the audio has to sound good, the video has to look good, and there's easy ways to do that, but sometimes you do get what you pay for. So it's like, it's just kind of constantly experimenting to see what works.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what have you learned in the process?
So that you're right. The reason why I kind of stopped was because of the audio.
Yeah, it's the tough part.
Audio was such a huge problem for me, and so I just got annoyed because it was bad audio all the time. And I just recently found these. They're expensive, but it's a one-time purchase. The DJI mics.
Those are good, yeah.
They're like solid mics, and now it kind of motivated me to get back in it, because you don't have to spend all this time trying to make this audio. You're just pop them on, turn them on, and then you got like almost top tier audio.
That's it. Yeah, the less work you have to do, the better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so just pop up the camera, just walk around, talk about a house, and then Hopefully someone doesn't tear me too much up on the internet.
Dude, I tell you, that's like,
Sorry, I lost my voice.
no, you're good, man.
Yeah, Matt kept me up too late last night.
Oh, geez, fun times at Inspection Fuel. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the other things too. It's like being bold enough and willing to kind of put yourself out there. I think one of the things that I realize with content creation, I mean, for what we do with Porch, I'm trying to reach home inspectors and realtors, people that are kind of on that front line in the real estate industry.
Right.
But for home inspectors, for you, for Matt, you know, you are really kind of going towards home buyers directly. And I feel like for some inspectors, maybe there's this fear of putting themselves out there because it's like, what if I get something wrong? What if somebody,
Yeah.
I mean, even just in one of the sessions here the other, actually, this was yesterday, they wanted to use a TikTok that I made. And I was like, oh, gosh, I'm going to get ripped because it was like I knew that I was pointing at this was on a house that was damaged by Hurricane Milton down in Florida, but I was pointing out the importance of hurricane clips or hurricane straps on houses in Florida. But it's like you couldn't quite see it, and I'm like, dude, a whole room full of inspectors is going to be like that is installed improperly, or you
Yeah.
know, you're pointing at something else, and you know, it's like some of it's just kind of putting your ego aside a little bit and being willing to kind of just put yourself
Yeah.
out there.
I think it's okay to get stuff wrong. We're human.
Yeah,
And so I
exactly.
used to think I was like, oh, I have to be right. But if like you are wrong, it's okay to be like, oh man, thanks. You know, like, yeah, I guess you might be right. You know, like,
Right, right.
And then they're like, they feel justified, I guess. I don't know, but I don't get things wrong too much anymore. But when I
You've been
first
doing it a bit.
started, I thought it was like wrong. Like I was wrong, and I would like try to defend myself, and I was like, why am I trying to defend myself? It's wrong. You know, like
Yeah, if it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah,
You know, we're all still learning here too. So,
so I'll
yeah.
be like, oh man, cool. Or I'll say, I'll look it up, you know, something along the lines of that. Just, yeah, I don't get too many internet trolls, but I'm also not as famous as like Matt and stuff like now anymore. So like they get hammered on every video. So that'd be more of a Matt question, like how you know, that kind of fear. But yeah, they shouldn't fear that. Just start producing content, you know, at minimum one video a week, and then Matt's goal, which I really like, is one picture or video per job. And if you can do that, your business will grow. Like it's guaranteed.
Yeah, definitely, man. And one of the other things too that I think might be kind of an intimidating factor to inspectors is the editing time. Like they're not audio video guys, right?
Right.
So it's like, how do you go from being a technical knowledge dude in the field to editing your own audio and video? Like, what's your process, and how do you make that easy for yourself?
Oh, that's a good question too. So whenever I first started, I thought it was like ridiculously hard to edit a video, but it's not. If you're Apple products, you just use iMovie. You don't need anything fancy if you're making home inspection stuff. But if you are on regular computers, I think it's called CapCut.
Yeah, CapCut's good.
Yeah, just use CapCut.
Give all your information to the
Yeah,
Chinese.
Watch one 30-minute tutorial video someone made on YouTube, and I guarantee you can use it. And like you're editing, you're throwing in B-roll, you can do music. I mean, just
And they got templates on there too if you want to go that route.
yeah,
So,
like just basic templates of like editing what your TikTok videos should look like or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's so easy. It's like just those two softwares, you're fine.
and again, yeah, YouTube videos for everything. That's a great way to go about it as well. So,
Yeah, that's
so you're pretty well self-taught then.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't go in classes or anything.
No,
I'm
that's
not
good.
very good in class. I'm skipping it right now.
So, because which class were you in? Because again, we're at Inspection Fuel. This is a 2-day conference here in Orlando. Actually, 3-day. We started yesterday with a few pre-conference classes. But did I say Orlando? We're in Dallas. We were in Orlando last year. I don't even know where I am anymore. But no, we're in Dallas. And so, which class were you sitting in before you came on out?
I was doing NEC, the electrical code update. So it's not like going over all the codes, but it's like going over the definitions and just the major changes that affect home inspectors, which I like. I've been in a lot of code updated classes, and they teach you all kinds of crazy stuff that you don't even need to know. And this is directed at home inspectors, which is very rare whenever someone's teaching classes. So it's good stuff.
No, definitely, man. Well, I'm glad you're here. Glad Matt's here too.
Yeah.
Definitely. So it's one of the best things about these conferences is you get to meet people that you know, you kind of orbit around each other in the industry, but at the same time, I mean, gosh, we haven't seen each other in a year.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to catch up, but always
That's
fun to
actually why I
meet new
go.
people too.
Yeah, it's just because you interact with this software and stuff, and you get to give your opinion to some people that it might make a difference, maybe. I don't know. And then you get to see the new vendors, and you never know what's going to change your business. So even if it's one thing, you know, you don't know, it could generate thousands and thousands of dollars for you. And every single time I come to one of these conferences, I learn something new. So I ran into Nathan Thornberry's son. What's his name? You know,
Ethan, yeah,
yeah, Ethan.
good guy.
At breakfast this morning, and we just started talking about mold. And I'm like, all right, fine, I might look into it, but mold is such a big thing in Houston, and you never know, I could generate another 100K just through mold. You know,
Yeah, definitely, man.
I have an inspector down right now, can send him to school. You know, so like maybe.
Well, we're on the same Gulf, like different sides of the Gulf. I'm down by Tampa, you're over here.
Yeah.
And it's like if you live this close to a massive body of water, I mean, hurricanes, rain, flooding, mold, it's
Mold,
all going to
yeah,
happen. Yeah.
It's bad. Yeah.
Definitely, dude. Have you guys fared during like hurricane season this past year? You guys holding up okay? Because there's been a couple that came this way.
We got a little bit of water, but that's just life down here, you know.
You get used to it, definitely.
Yeah.
So, well, dude, enjoy the rest of the conference. Great having you on the show. Matt's minded the camera back over here, so thanks for coming on too, man.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been
Thanks
fun.
for everything you do too, man.
Yeah, no, love it. And you guys stay tuned. There's going to be a whole lot more of this coming out of Inspection Fuel here in Dallas. So we'll see you on the next one here on the Ride Along.
All right.